Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Love Center virtual experience. This is our midweek two-way talk. This is Bishop Tyrone Smith. I'm glad to be with you on tonight. Glad to be with you on tonight. First Lady is out and about, and she may or may not join us on tonight, but she'll definitely be in the chat. So if you have some things that you want to specifically say to First Lady, she's going to be joining us by chat on tonight. Again, this is our Love Chronicles segment. This is our two-way talk, and we have been talking about love and delving into it. And tonight, what I'm going to do, I'm going to continue in that discussion, but I'm going to ask some questions. I want a real engagement on tonight. So for those of you that are viewing on tonight, I'm going to have you very much a part of our two-way discussion. If you want to join in the discussion, you can join us by looking at that link right there. You can join us if you want to come on, and if you have a viewpoint that you would like to share, I want to pull you in and hear your viewpoint on tonight. You can, uh, if you're on a phone or a device, you just go right to that link, and I will see you, and I'll be able to pull you in on this discussion. And so it's going to be a good night, and I'm going to jump right in. I'm not waiting on nobody. That's why we give everybody a 5-minute grace so that you can get yourself ready, because I want to get right into this discussion. And the first thing I want to do is I want to ask this question. I want to ask this question, and I want to get your viewpoint on this question. And this is, I'm targeting people who really earnestly believe in God and have some sense of belief in relationship. I'm going to ask you this question. Do you believe, do you believe that two individuals can be together monogamously without any external affair? Do you believe that that can happen? Do you believe two people can be together monogamously or exclusively and not have an external affair? Do you believe that? That's my first question. And then my second question. My second question. Do you really believe that opposites attract? Do you really believe that opposites attract? First question, do you believe that two people can be together monogamously or exclusively without an external affair? And then, second question, uh, and again, I let me be clear, as you may either you can put your comments in the chat, or if you want to come on, I'll pull you in and let you share your commentary if you would like. If you would like. So if you want to join us, we certainly would love to have you, and I'll entertain your conversation. Now, I do want to say that those that we pull on, the views that are expressed by that individual is that individual alone. It is not necessarily my viewpoint or the shared viewpoint of First Lady. That commentary is exclusive to the individual that is coming on. If we agree, I will certainly say and make that known. All right. So um, I want to hear from you all and see what your theory is. Let's just deal with the first one. Let's just deal with the first one. Do you believe that two people can be together and it be exclusive? Just those two. Do you believe that? Do you believe that? I want to see what your viewpoint on that is, because ironically, what I have discovered is that there are some who do not believe. They do not believe that two people can be together exclusively and not have anyone else. Now, let me clarify something. Even though you may have had an external affair or you've had an indiscretion within your marriage, you can have the indiscretion, but still very much believe that two people can be together. The error does not necessarily mean that you do not believe in the theory of that. All it says is that I believe it, but I fell short of it. Okay, so let's clarify that, because I don't want anybody feeling like, well, I can't answer that question because I've gone outside of my marriage. Well, I'm not asking you, did you go outside of your marriage? I'm asking, do you believe that two people can just be exclusive? Or maybe I should say it this way. Does the Bible model, that's what I'm trying to allude to. Does the Bible model of what marriage suggests? Do we believe that we can walk that out in the modern era? That's what I'm really trying to allude to. So maybe I should say it that way. So that way, I don't want nobody to feel like, oh my God, I don't want to answer that question. No, I really want to know, do you really believe that you could be exclusive in a relationship, regardless of your own acts of indiscretion? Do you really believe that? Do you believe it? I want to hear. Nobody's responding, so y'all making me nervous. Let's. I want to see some engagement. What do you believe? Okay, so Lake Tracy says, I do, and then my precious wife, she says yes. Mind you, she's looking real sexy on that. She got that jersey on. I had a chance to see her with that jersey on, and boy, the Ravens ain't never looked that good. So you do believe it? Okay, so you believe it. So let me ask this question, because I've got two yeses. Let me ask this question. So what do you think it will take for two individuals to be able to walk in that level of integrity, in that level of moral stance, and not have external relationships? What do you believe? What do you believe? Now, let me also say this. I believe in the modern era, as it pertains to the scriptural premise of relationship, I believe that we have compartmentalized the theoretical approach to relationship. Well, Bishop, what do you mean? I believe we have taken parts of the Bible and made it fit the specific dynamic that you are dealing with, rather than looking at the Bible in its totality. We look at certain parts of it, and then we make those parts fit. So as I was thinking about the session today, the Holy Spirit brought something to my attention, and I want to bring this to you as we're in the early deliberation and introduction to Love Chronicles for tonight. He said, most times the reason why there is such failure in relationship is because the two individuals have two different opinions and or theories to the narrative of right and wrong. It's two different things. It's looked at two different ways. And because it is viewed differently, the compartmentalization of what they've taken from the Bible, they make it fit their life. And then when you come along and then your compartmentalization of the Bible, or even the broader scope of the Bible, is in contrast to what they're thinking and or believing. And it makes two individuals hard to walk together. Because let me say this, and I'll make it plainer by saying it this way. What one individual will consider as an act of indiscretion, the other one doesn't. Mhm. So I'm going to pull on the comment here. I'm going to pull on the comment. So let me pull on one of these comments here because I want you all to see this. So Shredder Hearn says yes and no. The good that I would do even is always present. Did she laugh? And how can two walk together except they agree? Well, here's the, and we know that those of us that's been, we've if we're mature, we've been in church a while. That latter scripture we know that. But here's what's odd. The not being able to walk together unless you agree. My question is, where did you get your view, your theory, your truth about relationship? Where did you get that from? Where did you get it? And was your initial introduction and or framework of relationship, has that been your framing? Is that the foundation of what you call relationship? Or have you had to upgrade your view of relationship as you have gotten older? Because here's what I know, and I'll just talk about me. What I once thought and or felt when I was a younger man, as I have now matured, I look at it differently, and I have a greater level of gravity to what relationship really is. Because see, many of us, when we were older, when you were younger, there were things that you just said, if this person did this, I'm out. True or false? But as you've gotten older, now you realize that it is not the actual act of wrong that will give you the out. It is the level of that indiscretion that will give you the out. It's what the person has done. And everybody's what is different. Everybody's exit and reasoning for exiting is different. Most of us, as we've gotten older, we now look at the mirror that casts the reflection with a different set of eyes, because now we know, as much as we have expectation from somebody else to provide such an epitome of excellence in terms of relationship, when you look in the mirror does not necessarily cast that reflection. Mm-hmm. See, many of us, the difficulty is I look good to me, but I'm not always as good as I would want to be, which is what Ella Sharetta was alluding to in her comment. That good that I would do, evil is present, meaning I want to do good, but there's something in me. Now I want to show you something in the theory of indiscretion and or wrong that happens in relationship. You could have the greatest aspiration to do what is right. You could have the wantingness to please the other person. You could really endeavor to do all that is right in their eyes. However, there is something in you that causes you that when you want to do what is right, you wind up doing what is wrong. And here is the reason why, and it goes back to what I say, which was question number 2. Where did you get your framework? Where did you get your foundation, your learning of relationship? Because that's what's telling on many of us. That's what's telling on you. What's telling on you is you have looked upon individuals, you have gained a certain amount of information, you have banked a lot of information based upon things that you have experienced and or seen. And throughout the years, it has become the framework of your right. And now that you've gotten a little bit more mature, you've seen certain things, you now realize that the frame of your right is actually wrong. But many of us, what we've decided to do is we've tried to force our right on somebody else. Meaning, I'm going to make them conform to what I want. And then when the relationship is bumpy and rocky and dysfunctional and it doesn't flow like you want it to flow, it never dawned on you that you tried to force the square peg of your right into the round hole of somebody else's right, and it don't fit. It don't fit. And it's not until many of us have gotten older and gotten into relationships that you now see that deep down inside, the real issue is not the other person. The real issue is embedded in the deepest part of my person. Because I've been holding on to things that I thought was right, only to discover it is not as right as you think that it is. And many of us, it is time now at some stage, and this is even for relationships that are going well, I think some of us need to sit down and have a conversation so that you can now empty out your box of the perceptionalisms of your right and let someone organize it to really see, is that right your right, or is it the general right for a healthy relationship? I hope y'all are hearing me. I hope y'all are hearing me. I hope I'm helping. Because I'm gonna tell you something. There is a lot of things I've seen through the coronavirus pandemic. I'm going to tell you why we are seeing such a ripping apart a relationship. Because the socialistic life that you had, when it was restricted, and now you are left to be at home with that individual on longer terms than you normally would be, what you could hide through being social and being out of the house and out of their presence and doing other things, now you are at home and you are exclusively with that individual, and a lot of your compartmentalizations of right has now come to the forefront. And now you got two individuals with two different theories, with two different minds, two different perceptions, going in two different directions, and y'all are both in the house trying to figure out who in the name of Jesus are you? Because I do not believe and or subscribe to the things that you say are right. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the problem. And the reason why there is such dysfunction and things that are going on, and oh my God, is you just trying to figure out what's going. Well, this is why we have Love Chronicles. This is why. And until you are willing to make adjustments, because ladies and gentlemen, if I could just really be as blatantly honest as I possibly can, I think you put too much stock in yourself. And I think that many times all of us get to this place where we think that, you have this arrival point. But I can honestly tell you, at no time while you are on this side of heaven, walking out your life in this mortal body, I promise you, you should always be at a state of making adjustments, especially if you are living with somebody in what is called relationship. You should be constantly evaluating yourself. You should be listen, why is it okay? Maybe let me go further. Why is it okay that everything in life evolves? Why is it that everything in life upgrades? But you want somebody to accept you the way that you were in 1999 and think that there's nothing wrong, that you don't have to change. And why is it that when there are errors that are found in your life, how come you don't like when your mate brings those things up? How come you don't like it? But you are the first person to want to critically come against the other person for what they do. But when the other person reciprocates it and now brings to light your errors and your acts of indiscretions, you don't like it. That is a sign that you resist evolution. You don't want to grow and adapt, and you don't like to be wrong. And I'm going to tell you one of the ways that you will absolutely know that you may not be qualified to be in a relationship is if you got a problem with being wrong. Hello. If you can't be wrong and just accept it, shut your mouth, and when your mate comes to you and they start saying things, that's not the time for you to now say, well, you do this and you do this and you said this and this is what. No. We're not going to tick for tat. We're not going to tick for tat. I'm taking this moment to bring certain things to you that you don't seem to see are your acts of indiscretion. So I'm bringing it to light. That's not the time for you to now start saying, well, you do this, because now what it really sounds like is that you've completely dismissed what I've said. You have completely written off what I've shown you. And now what you want to do is do a comparison of your rights versus my rights. This is not a competition. This is not a competition. This is not a competition. Love should not be trying to compete against its mate. Love should be trying to complete its mate. But again, many of us grew up watching relationships where you saw that in your mother and your father, aunts, uncles, elder brothers, siblings. You saw that. So that now has become the development of how you function in your relationship. Just like many of you grew up, you didn't see real love, interaction. You didn't see it. You don't even know what that is. And so you've grown up now where you have sex, but you really don't know how to make love. You don't even know what that is. Because see, making love is not when you get into bed. Making love is when you get out of the bed and start your day. Making love starts when you get out of the bed, not when you get in it. And many of you have never learned the art of making love. And that's why you fail at making relationship. And some of us need to just put a quarter in the meter and park. Just stop. You need to stop. Just stop right here and just say, hold on a minute. Because maybe I need to take myself back to school. Maybe I need to look at what I deem as relational in the eyes of someone who has a healthy perspective of relationship, which then would make you ask this question. When I look out within the scope of the individuals that are around me, who around me gives me the healthiest view of relationship that I can say I want to pattern myself after that? Because until you at least have an image that you can see that gives you a healthy perspective of what relationship is, it's going to be very difficult for you. And I'm going to tell you why. Because in psychology, it is said that humans are creatures of habit. And we are more susceptible to the things that we see, we hear, and we touch, because that's our makeup. So if you are a creature of habit and you tend to follow after the things that you see, but you don't have a good example that you see, then it's going to be very difficult for you to mirror after something you ain't never seen. And it's going to be hard for you to know if it's right or wrong if you ain't never seen it. Hallelujah. Mhm. Mhm. It's hard. And sometimes in the middle of that relationship, if there's dysfunction, if there's things that are not going well, I think the best thing that both of you all can do is sit down, grab each other's hand, look each other in the eye, and just say, we don't have it. We don't have it. And admit it to one another, and then say, but I'm willing to work it out and fix it out with you. But it takes both parties. It takes both parties to get to that point, because no one person can do it by themselves. No one person can carry a relationship, because at some point, just like in your human body, you can only carry the weight but for so long. At some point, you're going to want to dump that weight. And that is part of the reason why relationships come apart, because individuals are carrying it. And the other one is taking the road of the least amount of resistance, doing the bare minimum. And unfortunately, this is what happens. But in a healthy relationship, number one, you ain't going to do everything right. So let me help you with that. Number one. Number two, the other person is actually willing to overlook many of the acts of discretion, because your desire and compassion to do what is right is clearly seen by your mate. See, marriage and or relationship should never be the playing field for you to bash the other person for what they do wrong. That's not what relationship is. You're actually getting into relationship with somebody because there is something that is in the individual that you want to aid the individual, not bash the individual. That's what real healthy relationship is. But I oftentimes wonder, do we really know what a healthy relationship is? And why is it that when you see a healthy relationship, you don't gravitate to it, you repel it, you walk away from it? Why do you do that? Why? If you know that there is something that you know is fruitful for you, wouldn't it make sense for you to attract it to you? And at some point, don't you want your relationship to really be better? Don't you want your relationship to be the model that allows everybody else to see what healthy relationship looks like? I mean, now again, I will say that everybody's perfect is different in the eyes of others. I get it. Your perfect is different than the next person's perfect. I get it. But there are certain things that are general. There's certain things that are general. There's certain things that are that you should look at, and it shouldn't be compartment. It shouldn't be a compartmentalized. It should be universal. It really should be. But at most times, it's not. And there are individuals who, uh, like myself, I was a widow before I married my wife. And there are many of you who have been married before. Have you ever looked back on your past relationships and had to be starkly honest with yourself and say, yeah, this person did this, but boy, I know. Well, I was something else in that relationship. Have you ever just been very honest to yourself? It ain't got nothing, it has nothing to do with what nobody else knows. It's what you know. How many of you, whether even it's past relationships, even before marriage or whatever, how many of you look back at a relationship and you know that, yeah, I was a piece of work. I was something. And I don't know why that person was even with me in the first place, because I really had a whole bunch of stuff going on with me. But a lot of times what you hope is that you could just keep going and the other person just kind of overlook it. And then when you realize they ain't overlooking it, they standing looking right at it. And you trying to figure out, well, what am I going to do now? Here's another unique thing. How many of you can honestly say that you have relationships and you can, just being honest, you may not want to put that in the chat, but how many of you can honestly say, I let my mother or my father too far into my relationship? How many of you can say, I let my parents, I let aunts, uncles, cousins, brothers, I let them too far in my relationship? How many of you can honestly say? Maybe you can just, give me some hearts or something. Because that way, if you don't want to put nothing, into the actual, because we do things that, we went too far. We went too far. And we should have stopped certain things, but we didn't. And because you didn't, it caused a lot of dysfunction to take place in the relationship. So my wife says, because a lot of times it reveals things within that we don't want to deal with when we see healthy relationships. We're not willing to put in the work and reevaluate ourselves. Reevaluate. That's a good word. That's a good word. That's a good word. How many of us really reevaluate ourselves in relationship? Or let me add a comma. How many of us evaluate ourselves in relationship, and or how often do you evaluate yourself? Or do you walk around here thinking that your stuff don't stink? Because, see, if you've been in the stink for a long time, it don't stink to you no more. But just let somebody else come around. Oh, they'll tell you it stink. It's almost like being in a house. I'll say it this way, make it safer. I don't want to offend nobody. If you've been in a house for any length of time and the trash is in the trash can and you've been in there all day, you don't smell it. But as soon as somebody comes home, they say, you don't smell that? You don't smell that? And you're like, smell what? That's because you've been in it so long that you can't smell it. It's until somebody else comes along that they can say, oh, no, that stinks. And for many of us, that is one of the clear problems that we are experiencing with relationship. You are now confronted with an individual who has come along and they're saying, pew, that stinks. And up until then, you didn't know it. And as a matter of fact, Even some of the people that we were with, well, they were living in the same type of stuff. So it ain't stink to them either. See, don't ask for an upgrade in the type of person you want, because the upgrade may come along and tell you, oh no, I don't need, no, that's not good. I don't like that. I don't like that. No, no. Mm-mm. And I love it when folk keep saying, well, I want you, just be honest. Just be honest. Really? You sure you want that person to be honest? Because here's what I know as a pastor. Folks struggle with me telling them the truth. And I don't even live with you. I don't live with you. And you struggle to receive what I say. So, Elder Shredder says, I can honestly say that I did not allow my parents, my mother, to give me opinion or dabble in my relationship at all. I remember that one of the things that my pastor at that time said during counseling, it was to keep people out of your marriage. Keep them out. Keep them out. That's gonna be the way you're gonna mess it up for sure. Gotta see if I can try to see if I can get the rest of your comment so everybody can see it. I don't know if I can get everybody, so I'll read it. So after it says it was to keep people out of your marriage, and then she went on to say, and keep your business to yourself or yours. Now, it came back to bite us in the end, sort of, because it shocked people that we were separating and divorcing because we didn't let people, even our children, know that there was something wrong. Well, now here's the problem with when things are wrong, you gotta have a buffer. You gotta have somebody that you can go to. You gotta have somebody you can talk to. You gotta have somebody you can trust. And that goes back to what I said earlier. Who gave you the framework to your relationship? There's got to be somebody that you can go back to and say, hey, things aren't going well. This is what's happening. And we, not I, not them, we need to have a discussion. Because that's the other part. I've seen too many times when one party wants to seek some type of counsel and the other one is like, I don't need that. And I will honestly say, in most cases, it is the man. And this is why we have Love Chronicles. This is why. Because for some strange reason, men tend to think that, oh, well, I'll fix it. And their idea of fixing it is we just gonna keep on moving and it's gonna fix itself. Mm-hmm. So we gotta fix these types of dynamics in relationship. We gotta fix it. And we've got to want to fix it. You can't keep living like this and expecting it to get better. You cannot. You really cannot keep doing this. At what point do you want to actually fix and resolve issues? Why do we run from problems? And in particularly, when you are the problem. Why do we do that? Why do we do that? If you have somebody that's with you and they really love you, they really ambitiously should want to see the best you that you can possibly be. They should want to do that. There should be such an admiration to say, baby, I want the best for you. I want to see the very, very best in you. But in too many cases, it's almost like you want to see the demise of the individual, and that's not healthy. That's not healthy. It's not healthy. And then, once we get past this, and then we start getting to the bedchamber, then we got a whole other issue, because here's something else that is the issue, and I'm going to try to be as PG as I can. But too many of you have had too many sexual interludes, so now you want your current mate to be the combination of the 5 people that you were with previously. And then you mad because he don't throw you down, he don't give you the chokehold, because that's what you did before. Or you mad because she won't do that thing, or she don't want to dress up, and all that, because you've had these other interludes. You've opened up Pandora's box. And instead of having a conversation to the healthiness of the relationship, you have undue expectations of the individual. And then when they don't do it, then you feel some kind of way. Then, in the pleasuring of the individual, because you're so selfish in your mind, you don't even take the time to want to please the other individual. You get yours and get out. And you think it's okay. But then when the other person comes to you and says, hey, I'm not happy with that. What you mean? You want honesty. You cannot want honesty, and then when you get it, you reject it. Because when you reject the honesty, you're rejecting them. If you continually keep rejecting them, they're going to find somebody that will accept them. Hello. At some point, you gotta want it to be healthy. And if you don't know what it is, you have to really look for something that gives you the best perception of healthy that you can find. Taro Knight, it's good to see you. I saw you come on. I think the sound you were experiencing was with your own, because clearly everyone can hear me. So you may want to just hit the button and cut your sound on. Hopefully you've done that by now. But am I talking good? Are y'all with me? If you give me some hearts, give me some thumbs. If I'm, I want to make sure that y'all are understanding what I'm saying. And this goes for young people as well as old. That selfish mentality ain't gonna get you nowhere. And so, my wife said, that's selfish. Making sure your spouse is happy and fulfilled should be a priority. Well, not if you yourself are not happy, which then leads to a bigger problem. The bigger problem is the wantingness of happiness is actually held in the hand of somebody else. And when they don't give it to you, then you now attack your mate because there's a feeling of this is what you need to do for me. Well, did it ever occur to you that you can't even do that for yourself, but you want somebody else to grant you a level of happiness that you ain't never did for your own life? And that's the reason why many people are messed up in relationship, because you ain't never had a good job where you could take care of yourself. You ain't never had a car that you liked on your own, but you gonna complain about your mate's car. You ain't never had a place on your own where you could live and have it on your own, got your own stuff, but then you come into a relationship and then, I don't like that sofa, and I don't like that dresser, and I don't like that. Well, did you ever have something on your own? Maybe you would have a greater appreciation for somebody else's stuff if you had something on your own. You want somebody to do all this stuff for you, but you ain't never did that stuff for yourself. Bishop Waters, bless you. Good to see you. How come you put all this pressure on somebody to be this person to you? You have never been that to yourself. The scripture says, love your neighbor as you love yourself. If you ain't did it for yourself, then doggone it, don't put that pressure on nobody else. Because you want somebody to be Superman to you. You want somebody to be Superwoman to you. You want somebody to do all this stuff for you. And then when it don't happen, now you feel some kind of way. I think you need to internally take a look at yourself and ask yourself, am I experiencing Love Chronicles? What is going on with me? Ask you. We deal. It is amazing to me. We have the solution for everybody else's problem, but you don't spend a hot minute to really evaluate what's really going on with me. I get nervous. Let me also say this, because I'm out here now. Let me go. I got a problem. I got a real problem with everybody out here. Everybody got this view. Everybody got this truth on relationship. Everybody got this, they've now become the expert to relationship. But the problem that I'm trying to figure out is you've been married 9 times. 9 times, 4 times, 5 times, and now you are a marital expert. But the person who's been married 1 time and still with that individual, y'all won't listen to them. Y'all crazy. Y'all are crazy. Y'all crazy. Y'all crazy. Anybody who's been with one person for any length of time will always get my attention. Because let me tell you what real maturity will be in relationship. It takes more maturity to be with one person than it does for you to be with 5 over a 1 lifetime period. Now, you can learn. You can learn. You could. But here's what I will say to that level of learning. Your level of learning is based upon experience. Like you have to constantly keep going through series of things in order for you to acquiesce to certain levels of knowledge. There are those who have sat down and walked out the value of their relationship to learn what that is, instead of having to go and have 9 affairs. When somebody has been with one person, y'all better listen to them, because they have forgotten more than many of y'all will ever know. And you say you want the knowledge, you say you want to learn. Well, maybe you need to go to the right school. and doggone it, stop eating from everybody's opinion concerning relationship, because some of the stuff that's out there only works for them. That's not how a healthy relationship should work. It is not healthy, not healthy, that you can go hours a day and you don't never talk to your mate. That's not healthy. That's not healthy. I don't care what nobody say. I don't care what nobody try to philosophize it. I don't care if you say, well, that's how we work. Yeah, okay. All right. Okay. Listen, these gray hairs right here and the ones I got in my head tell me a whole different story. You can say that all you want to. I didn't live too long and I didn't seen too much. It's not healthy. And typically, if you're not talking to them, somebody is. And you can say whatever you want, but don't you dare part your lips and say that you love somebody and you are comfortable never talking to them throughout the entire day, even if it's only for a 2 to 3 minute span of time. You're telling me that you're comfortable and you don't never want to talk to them? Yeah, okay. All right, okay. Go right ahead. Go right ahead. But I'm going to tell you, much of what we have patterned after is a bunch of junk. And too many times we have watched reality TV show and we have now made our lives like the Housewives of Atlanta in LA and all them other reality TV shows. Ladies and gentlemen, let me help you. That is entertainment. It is not real reality. That is scripted. That's not how that should work. That's not how it should work. How in the world are you going to say you love somebody, you don't never feel no compassion to hold them, touch them, grab their hand, you nothing. And you talk about you love them? How? When? Where? I don't understand. Mm-mm. That's not love. And too many times we mechanicalize love. And you force your mate into this, again, for those of you that just came on, this compartmentalization of what marriage is, or what you say relationship is. You put it in a box. You put it in a compartment and said, this is how this works. This is how we gonna do it. And the person don't like it, but they're gonna try to make it work with you until they realize this is not working. This ain't working. This isn't working. This isn't working. It's not. And I think some of us are going to have to get to a place, as much as you love your mama and love your daddy, I think you're going to have to admit that, unfortunately, as much as I love my mama and my mama and my daddy did not give me the totality of what I want in my relationship. You have gleaned certain things from your mother, you have gleaned certain things from your father, but it did not give you the total framework of what you want in a relationship. And it's time for you to explore healthier perspectives and or people that will help you to see what relationship really is. I've had people to say that to my wife and I, oh, oh, y'all wore the same thing. Oh, that's cute. I used to do that 20 years ago. Like we supposed to feel guilty. I don't care what you used to do 20 years ago. Who cares? I don't care. Do what makes you happy. Because me and my thing, my boo thing is good. We good. My baby good. We fine. When's the last time you looked at either one of us and saw sadness in either one of our eyes as it pertains to looking at one another? When's the last time you seen that? When last time you seen me not happy? When last time you seen her not happy? I think you better fine tune your HD TV. Don't worry about the programming we got on ours. Because I can tell you, we got a good thing. It's good. It's real good. It's real good. I know, and I've said this on other shows, the love for my wife makes other folk uncomfortable. I know it does. And I don't care. I don't care. Because me loving my wife don't have nothing to do with your opinion. The only opinion that really matters in the love that I have for my wife is my wife. And I think that's the other part when you look at relationship that many of you are going to have to get to. Stop trying to live the value of your life in the opinions of others. Get to a place where you are comfortable with what you have. Shut off the volume on other folks who will speak negatively about the value of the relationship that you have. Now, if they're going to add something to your relationship and give you a healthier perspective on how you can make your relationship better, absolutely, you want to entertain that. Absolutely. But if they're not adding anything to that relationship, if they're not speaking well into that relationship, if they themselves don't have a healthy relationship, then why on earth are you listening to them? You going to listen to somebody. Are you serious? You cannot be serious. Why do we do that? Why do we do that? You go listen to somebody else that you can't even say, well, does that work for you? Because if it ain't working for you, well. So I'm gonna go back. It's 8:00. I'm gonna try to finish here because my wife is home and I want to spend some time with my wife. Let me make this clear. I do this. This is my assignment. I love it, and all of them. But when my wife come home, my wife has been gone all day, and I want to spend some time with my wife. So the very thing I'm trying to tell you, I live it. I live it. So I wanna go back to the beginning. I want to go back to the beginning. I want to ask this question for those of you that just came on, and I certainly thank God for Stacy Arthur. Thank God for Stacy coming on, and Bishop Charles Waters. Thank God for his life and his wonderful wife, Lady Michelle. Just beautiful people, beautiful people. I asked the question. I asked the question earlier, and I'm going to ask it again. Do you believe that two people can be together monogamously without any external affairs? Do you really believe? Is the biblical model, the things that we have said over time, do we believe that that is achievable in the postmodern era of Jesus Christ? Do we believe that? Is that actually possible? Do we believe it? Do you believe that you can be married to one person and one person alone, and that's it? Now, let me preface by saying, it is not to say that if it has ever happened to you, it is not to say that if it has ever happened to you, that because it has happened, that you don't believe that two people can still be together. Because you can still believe it, even if you've erred. You can still believe it. Just because you error don't mean that you stop believing. And let me help you in this 30-second analogy and exegesis of scripture. Because to suggest that because I have erred, I stop believing is to suggest that there's no need for me to go to church and no need to believe in God because I've erred in my Christian faith. But the more you err, the more you need to reach for what is right. Because even when I do what's wrong. I got to love God enough to keep on trying to do what's right. So even though you do what's wrong, that don't mean that you stop believing. As a matter of fact, maybe a part of the problem is that you have erred so much, it has caused the mechanism of your belief to stop working. Good God Almighty. Maybe the problem with the framework of your relationship is that you don't even believe that you could be exclusive. You don't believe that you could love like that. You don't believe that she will ever love you like that. He could love you like that. You don't believe that two people can really walk out the solemnity of relationship and harmony. You don't believe it. So because you don't believe it, because the mechanism of your belief has been damaged by the wrongs of your life and or the other part of the person, now your belief is distorted. You just don't believe it can happen. And maybe in order for it to now have an opportunity to work, maybe you need to take it to the mechanic and let somebody fix the mechanism of your belief. Are y'all with me? Maybe I need to fix my belief. Maybe I need to fix that. I need to fix it. You can't, let me help you. You cannot want what you cannot believe for. Until what your aspirations want, it is going to be very difficult for your belief to bring it into fruition. Because at some point, you have to want it and believe it. So my question is, do you really believe that you could be together? Do you believe that I can really be with one woman, one man exclusively? Do you really believe it? What do you say? Give me your consistency. What do you say? What do you say? Is it possible? Is it possible? And then the next question is, where did you learn? Where did the framework of relationship come from for you? And the second part of that is, and has that been exclusive, or have you had to upgrade that manner or learning that you have had concerning relationship? Have you had to upgrade it? Or are you still living from your initial ideas, ideologies, and perceptions of relationship? Is that where it is? Y'all talk to me. Give me some, y'all interact. We do a terrible job in interaction. If you're going to be on, interact, talk to me. So Mickey, and I thank you for being on, Mickey. So I want to read this to my listeners who may not see. So Mickey said, I believe it. I just wish I had an example of it in my life. Wow. Whoa. Whoa. So Mickey, let me ask you this question. Do you believe that the lack of that example has damaged the mechanism of your belief and or your ability to walk it out? And if that may not, and if that's not, if you would rather not answer that question, just type amen, because that way I'll know that, because I'm gonna tell you something. There was a time when I believed that it couldn't happen. And I will even be more honest with you and tell you that as a preacher, I thought that that was the only way you would even have any level of success. You had to do all of that because it was what I saw. And it wasn't until I started maturing and really began to get sick of just seeing a lot of stuff that I saw and just realized, well, you know what? Mm, okay. If that's what they want to do, then y'all go ahead. Y'all go ahead. I think I think I want something different. Mickey, I appreciate that. She said yes to some aspect, but I thank God. Wow. Wow. So let me ask many of you, if you would be honest. I'm gonna go back to what she said. She said, I believe, I just wish I had an example. So let me ask you this question. Do you believe the lack of seeing relationship, monogamous relationship, do you believe it has affected you in your current relationship? Do you believe it has affected you? Yes or no? Yes or no? Do you believe it has affected you? Do you believe it has affected you? Do you believe it has made it difficult for you? Okay. So Tracy said no. No. Okay, good. That's good. That's good. I'm glad. I'm glad. But for some, it has, because when we were maturing, as we were growing up, and as we were seeing the people that we looked to, the people we looked up to, it meant so much to us, and it affected the framework of our thinking. As much as um, I love my mother and my mother and father were not compassionate in my eyes. That never happened. I remember the one day I saw my father kiss my mother on the cheek. I was stunned. I'd never seen him ever. I'd never seen them hold hands, nothing. So to those of you that know the relationship that I have with my wife, and to see how much we hug, touch, kiss, and all of that, I want to show you that just because you come from a certain environment does not necessarily mean you become like the environment that you come out of. You can progress beyond, and you can become better, but you have to want it. You have to want it. So First Lady said, no, there are so few examples of healthy marriages. We created a relationship that we wanted and continue to make adjustments. You better believe it. Absolutely. 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 We do. We constantly, we're always trying to see. My wife's opinion matters to me. It really matters. It matters. Um, and the one thing that is always in the back of my mind is, it would devastate me to watch my wife break down and cry and know that I was the reason. And see, a real man, and I don't care what no man says, I don't care what he say, I don't care what nobody think. A real man, when it comes to his wife, if he don't feel some kind of way knowing that if my wife is hurt and I know I did it and it don't affect him, leave him. And I know I may not, Hail Mary, Mother of Grace. But I'm gonna tell you something. There is something wrong if he is comfortable watching you in a broken state and he don't feel nothing, especially if he was the one that did it. I have nothing to say to that. I'm not saying that. Because see, even in the scripture, see, when God turned Israel over to other nations to be judged because of his anger towards her, oh, he turned them over. But let the record show that, but when they started doing stuff, God stepped in and said, no, because that's my wife. And he's biased. Now, when she did stuff to him, he responded a certain way, but he loves her. And to prove the validity of that love, in the book of Hosea, the Bible said, he told the prophet, listen, I want you to go marry this prostitute. You're going to marry this prostitute. This prostitute is immediately going to leave you, and she's going to chase after other lovers. And you're, at some point, after she chases after all these lovers, I'm going to create a barrier so that the only one that she's going to be able to come back is to you. But the difficulty with what is going to happen is at the point that you're going to come back to her, she's going to unfortunately be found on the block as a prostitute ready to be bought. And you're going to have to buy her back in order to get her back. But when you buy her back, unlike in the premise of slavery, see, if you buy the property belongs to you in the premise of slavery. But when you buy her back, you're going to revert back to the original covenant that was made, because the original covenant is going to override the principle of you buying her back as a slave, which, ladies and gentlemen, is soteriology, of the doctrine of salvation. See, he had to buy us back because we were on the chopping block to be auctioned off to sin. So he comes, and now he comes into our life to buy us back and to bring us back to God as a wife, not a slave. I hope y'all understand that. And that is the reason why, in the manner of your Christian faith, you should forever be grateful, because the truth is, he found you worthy enough to buy you back. But instead of making you a slave, he gave you wife privileges back again and allowed the original covenant that he made with you in the book of Genesis to override the generations of sin that have lived within mankind. God Almighty. I pray that y'all understand that. That's why if in your Christian faith, in your moral stand with God, if you don't have enough compellingness and love for God that you will really worship God, then you're gonna make me think that you really don't even understand really what it is to be in the way according to the scripture, or in the modern day as to be a Christian. You don't even really know what it is, because honestly, there was nothing in you that was really worth buying. You were completely bankrupt. But deep down under the layer of your bankruptcy, he found something in you worth buying. And he came with his own currency, called his life, and bought you back so that you could now have fellowship with God. And that's the reason why you ought to be grateful. And don't you never let nobody legislate to you how you love God and walk out God. Don't you ever let nobody do that. Because what he did for you, could nobody else do it but him. And that's why you need to give him the praise. And that is dance worthy right there. 8:23, I'm gonna shut it down. I'm ready to eat dinner with my wife. I pray that has this helped you? How, give me, say something, give me some hearts, say something, interact, just say, give me something, let me know that this is helping you. If it's helping you, we'll keep going. We'll bring it back another week and we'll keep talking. I'm actually going to bring on a few folks. I'm going to bring on some couples. I'm going to do an engagement and talk about relationship in the eyes of others. And hopefully it'll really help you. I'm trying my best to help you. I'm trying my best to help you. Now, if you like, we're gonna certainly close out for tonight, and I really, Jasmine said, I'm so upset. I miss. Well, Jasmine, you can go back and play it. Once we end it, you can go back and play it. Mickey, I thank you. I thank you. I thank you for wanting to be on. Thank you so much. Share this, share it, and then in the weeks to come, bring somebody on. It's really a healthy dialogue. It's a very, very healthy dialogue. I haven't really even to scratch the surface. There's a lot of things that I'm really trying my best to figure out how I'm going to talk about it, because there are some other things that are a little bit more deeper in the subject matter that I'm trying to negotiate on how I'm going to talk about it. Or what I might do, I'm thinking in the incoming year, I'm contemplating with a great sincerity. I'm really contemplating on doing our For Lovers Only. Last year we were supposed to do it at the La Quinta. We canceled it because there was we were getting ready to experience all this stuff. But For Lovers Only is a time when couples come together, and we have food and drinks and music, and and I mean we have music. We ain't in there dancing to Todd Delaney. What I mean, I'm talking about we dance every time. It's for lovers only. It's for lovers only. And we bring folk on, and and we have a great time, and we really get into relationship and talk about it. And what I've decided to do, because see, for Lovers Only, at one time it was just for couples, but then I decided to open it up so that it could, single people could be in. Because I realized the single people want to be, a lot of them want to be married. And sometimes it's good for them to be in a company of couples. You can learn a lot. So I'm thinking about doing it again. And where we could really do it and it just be a great time. There will be certain segments that are exclusive for couples, and then certain segments that are exclusive for singles. And then I want to do one part for women and then one part for men, because I am going to, in the weeks to come, I'm going to have some women that I specifically know that are abstinent, virgin. How about that? That's an interesting word. I'm going to bring them on, and I'm going to let them talk to you, and then I'm going to engage in a conversation on dating. What is dating? What is dating? How's that working for you all? For those of you that are single, if you're single on here, how's that dating thing working? How's that working? Because the stories that I'm hearing is, oh my God, it's not good. It's really not good. And I want to talk about that. I want to give you a healthy perspective on dating. And then I want to, I ain't trying to matchmake. But there's some people that I just want to kind of put y'all in close proximity. And hopefully, there'll be some electricity. Praise God. Mickey said, Mickey said, it's challenging, but I'm hopeful. well, the Lady Trace is just like, so I got 1 minute. I got 1 minute. I'm shutting it down. But what makes dating so challenging? What makes dating so challenging? What's so challenging? Because see, I've always said, if I was single, I'm telling you, it ain't take me long. Because first of all, if you're attractive, there is a gentleman, listen to me carefully. If a woman is attractive, all right, why would you wait till she walk past you? You looking at her. Man, look at that. How about you let her know? And how about you let her know in a respectable way? For example, there's nothing wrong if you, and ladies, y'all on the chat, so y'all tell me if I'm wrong. There's nothing wrong if you say, excuse me, I just want to say, I don't want to impede your day, but I just want to say that I saw you when you walked by. You are extremely attractive. You are very attractive. Now, if she responds, great. If she does, you've done your part. It's obvious either A, she's not interested in you, B, she has someone, or C, your breath stink. Prayerfully, it's A or B. If it's C, then you need not to say nothing to nobody. But there's a right way. Just like there's a right way of saying, wow, that outfit looks, boy, you look really good. A woman doesn't mind you being complimentive to her. Ladies, y'all help me if I'm wrong. She don't mind. But all that other stuff that we tend to do and or say as men is not always welcome. But every woman wants to know that she looks good. That's why she spends so much time in the mirror. Hello. And there's a right way and a wrong way to go about doing it. But until you fix your stuff, till you fix it, it's going to be hard for some woman to even take you serious. Many true mature women don't take a lot of these men serious because of that dumb stuff that y'all do or men do when you try to roll up on some woman. They don't take you serious. They don't take you serious. Damn, baby, what's up? God, you fat. Number one, she knows she fat. So let me help you. She already know that she fat. She already know that. What she wants is someone who, in a respectable way, to approach her. A woman wants to know that she is respected. And even if she is a goddess, which thank God for a Black woman, because Black women are the most beautiful creatures on the face of the planet. I am biased. But there is a right and a wrong way to entreat a goddess. And how you start off in the mannerism of how you treat her will typically determine the mannerism that you will treat her during the time of your courting. Ladies, if he is not discreet in his mannerisms to you in the early stages of the relationship, you will then find out that he will not be discreet in other areas of your courting season. Mhm. Now, if he's private and he says certain things, then that means he respects you in the eyes of the public. But when he is at home, he recognizes the curves, the shapes, and will want to be verbal and or touchy. But when he is in public, he is always going to grant you and give you the level of respect that is due you. That is a man that you will want to consider, because what he is saying to you is, I will never ever disrespect you in the eyes of other people. What we do in the privacy of our lives, I will never throw it out into the public so that it can be publicized. What we have is what we have. I love my wife. I interact with my wife with a great level of dignity. Why? Because my wife is a queen. My wife is a queen. And I'll never, I don't ever, even as her husband, I'm never going to dismiss the value of the queen that I know, which then gives the public the right to do the exact same thing, because what I allow, they then will be permitted to do. And I'm never going to do that. I gotta quit. I ain't going to go that far. Listen, um, if you've enjoyed tonight, and I pray that you did. For those of you that chimed on, I pray that you really enjoyed tonight. We certainly will be back on. If you would like to give, we certainly would love for you to give to our ministry. The information is right here. You can write from your phone. You can text 410-873-9100. Right from your phone. You just pick up your phone. Just pick up your phone, and then you just 410-873-9100, and then you just put in an amount, $5, $2, $1, and you just hit send, and it goes right on through. You finish the transaction, done. It takes about a minute less for you to do that. Or you can go to Cash App. You can go right to Cash App, and our Cash App ID is $ONELOVECENTER, and you can get no amount. It doesn't matter, because all of your donations are helping us to do ministry. And there's a big announcement that we're getting ready to announce within these next coming weeks that I want to share, and I can't wait. I'm just sitting on pins and needles to share it. I'm going to share it with you all. And then if you want to go right to our website, www.tlcmd.org, you can go there. That stands for the Love Center Maryland organization. You can go right there and you can give your donation, and all of your donations are tax deductible. And we certainly value every gift that you give to our church. Listen, it's been great. I appreciate you all on tonight for joining us. This has been Love Chronicles with Bishop and Lady Smith in her absence. This is our two-way talk. We come back every Wednesday at 7 o'clock. We'll be right here. And for those of you, just so you know, for those of you that if you're not attending a church, or you are attending a church, and right now you are, you're going, but you still have an opportunity where you can join us in our virtual world. We would love to have you to be a part of our 10 a.m. Sunday morning virtual experience. It's the Love Center experience, Sunday morning, 10 a.m. We are right back here on Facebook Live. There's the information right there. And we would love to have you to be a part of our experience. Listen, this has been Bishop Tyrone Smith of the Love Center. It is truly a church where love is in the center. You have to experience it. There's nothing like it. We absolutely would love for you to join us. I want everybody to be safe. I look forward to seeing you real soon. Everybody have a great night. Take care, everybody.